Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Aries for August 2018. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com. Check out what's new on my blog. Also, if you are into self-development or professional development, I have tons of goodies on my site and services that you will love. So what is going on in the month of August? We have Mars, your ruler, still retrograde, but it goes direct this month, so you'll definitely be feeling that. We have Mercury retrograde, but it's retrograde in a fire sign, which is creating a series of trines with your placements, which we're going to talk about, so that's amazing. We also have the third of a series of eclipses, and this one is in Leo, which again makes a trine to the energies of Aries, and we'll talk about which dates, birth dates, and other Aries placements will be most affected by that. And we have a significant amount of personal planet energy in Leo. And whenever this happens, you should notice at this time of the year, like when July, August, sometimes it will start a little sooner, sometimes it will go a little past August. But in this time of the year, when the planets get into Leo, it activates your Aries energy. This is a fellow fire sign that breathes life and zest and zip into your experience. So for this and for some other reasons, I'm calling the theme of this month for Aries, fireworks and fulfillment. Pure magic, tons of fire, tons of activity, tons of ways that you can express creatively, and in other ways, lots of exciting potentials, new doors opening. Plus we have an amazing outer planet water trine, and we have an amazing grand earth trine, which is very stabilizing. There's been a theme of that for Aries. We've been talking about growing roots. We've been talking about the more focused you can be, the more you can expand in the future. And so this theme with this grand earth trine for everyone is sort of bringing in this gelling, this material grounding, which is so important for everybody, but it's especially important for very zesty Aries placements who can get very out of hand and very excessive in wonderful ways. Can also be challenging ways, right? But there's a lot of energy going on now for you. Okay, so let's break this down. We talked about a trine. A trine is a 120-degree angle. This is the most favorable angle in all of astrology. When we have trines, it creates a sacred geometrical experience that brings coherence and awesomeness. So any planets in Leo make trines to their counterpart Aries planets that are close in degree. So since as of July 25th or 26th through August 18th or 19th, depending on your time zone, Mercury would be moving through all of these Leo degrees between 11 and 23 degrees. So we'll just add 2 degrees on the end of each of that and make it between 9 and 25 degrees of Leo. So that means any Aries placements between 9 and 25 degrees will be experiencing this trine, and in some cases, you know, it makes the trine once, then it retrogrades back through, then it goes over it again. All Aries placements will have kisses, little trine kisses from all of these, you know, the Sun, Mercury, North Node moving through Leo. So no Aries is going to be left out of this awesomeness, so don't worry about that. But there are some of you, like those between March 30th and April 12th for your birthdays, and those days around there, give or take a few days. If you're watching for your rising or your moon sign between 9 and 25 degrees, you'll have these extra blessings. And this could be stuff that just falls in your lap. You know, the energy of a trine is just something that just comes. And sometimes it comes from work you did in the past, and there's a strong chance of that because we're still in Mercury retrograde and Mars retrograde, and we're moving along an eclipse, a continuum that is telling a story from the past. Also, these trines, especially the one of them, is carrying a chapter of a story from the end of last year. So there's so much chance for fulfillment and manifestation from work that was done in the past. If you've been taking my advice and not pushing agendas through this Mars retrograde, then you might have found that you've had a wonderful Mars retrograde, and you might be really sad to see Mars go direct at the end of August. But either way, it's your ruler and it is going to affect you. So in the midst of these trines, you are going to experience the waking back up. Unless you have Mars in retrograde at birth, then maybe you'll experience the opposite. You were woken up during the retrograde and now you're going to go back to your old ways of being, maybe with some changes or tweaks that occurred from lessons over the last couple of months, but the predominant experience for Aries is going to be that your energy starts waking up, your ambitions return, that spark of excitement, of motivation will come back to you, and work that you try to do will more likely flow better and not have so many blocks and frustrations. So that's all very exciting. So back on this topic of these trines, okay, so we've got the solar eclipse, which is the third eclipse in the series. We had 2 eclipses, a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse in July. Then we have this third eclipse at 18 degrees of Leo on August 11th. To do a good job with these eclipses, I broke it down into over my 3 reports of June, July, and August. June's report talks about how the early July, well, I guess it's around July 12th, eclipse will affect Aries. In the July Aries report, I talk about how the July 27th Aquarius lunar eclipse can affect Aries. And in this August report, I'm talking about the August 11th solar eclipse. So to get a thorough experience here, you have to watch June, July, and August. Also, it's relevant because even though the July eclipses happened in July, we can still have manifestations from July eclipses in August. So you want to have that in your consciousness, because the chance for things to happen after the fact are still very improved. Lots of activity in August. Okay, so if your birthday is around April 7th, you will be in an exact trine with this solar eclipse, and it will bring you major blessings. If your birthday is between April 2nd and April 12th, you'll be within 5 degrees or so of this solar eclipse placement, and it still increases the odds that you'll have major blessings. The energy of Leo still trines Aries, so again, all Aries have this chance for extra fulfillment and fireworks, but those dates between the 2nd and 12th, especially around the 7th of April, are extra blessed from this eclipse. You March-born Aries, we're not leaving you out here. You have the transiting North Node in Leo giving kisses to your Aries placements. So the transiting North Node shows us what things we need to do to get on track with our highest expression in this lifetime. So you might find, if you are born, a March-born Aries, that you're getting extra special support and motivation to try to get on track with your life. And if you haven't been consciously aware of that or using it, now you know. So now you can take steps to really get yourself situated and put your best foot forward. So even you later degree placements for Aries, even though we didn't specifically mention for some of these aspects, as the rest of the personal planets move through Aries, move through Leo, once they get into the latter part of their movement, they will make trines to your Aries placements. So you might feel this in the latter part of August. Some of you might feel this even into September, but you're not going to be left out of the awesomeness here. Okay, so we have the grand Earth trine, which I'm going to go into more details about in the general report, but that is taking place on, well, the trine between the Uranus and Taurus and the Saturn and Capricorn. That's going to be happening. We'll be feeling that for half of August, the second half of August, the first half of September, long trine. But August 25th is when the sun comes and makes this a grand trine. So look for some things to gel, some stabilizing forces, some things on the material realms to come in or in that point. If you have to do something specific with your business, make a decision, move forward with something, and you can't wait until December after Venus and Mercury do their next retrograde thing throughout the latter part of the year, then the end of August, beginning of September is a pretty good open window compared to the rest of September, October, and November, because we'll be very much entrenched in Venus retrograde and another Mercury retrograde. So you kind of have a little bubbling up, a little popping open of some possibilities to ground some things. And like I said, since Mars will be direct, your motivation might be there. So as your motivation is returning, you might actually be able to make some progress. Just keep pushing along until you hit roadblocks, then sort of, kind of back off and look at the signs, because we don't want to mess with that Venus retrograde either. But we'll talk more about that in the September report. So let's talk about where the solar eclipse is going to hit for Aries. All of you are going to have this in the 5th house. Those very early placements, of course, you have a chance that you might get some of this in the 6th house, a very late degree placements, you might get a little snippet of this in the 4th house, but the predominant experience of the new opening, the new chapters, the new phases of experience are coming through your 5th house. 5th house is the same energy as the eclipse itself, because the eclipse itself is in Leo, and Leo rules the 5th house. So Aries, you're going to have the energy of the sign and the energy of the house match, which amplifies the potentials for manifestation in the Leo 5th house placements. So that has to do with children, milestones with children, new advances with children, breakthroughs with children. There could be something like maybe if you're trying to have a child, a pregnancy, a birth, something exciting happening with children you already have, working with children, even if they're not your own. Creativity in general, acting, singing, directing, leading, anything that puts you like in the energy of other people watching. This is, and athletes also are in here. Divas, you fashion goddesses, and gods, we don't want to leave you out. If you're anything that brings attention to yourself physically, if that's your realm, this is a supercharged time of manifestation for you. Like if you have a fashion blog or you're a designer or something like that. Really amazing potentials. This is also an amazing potential for romance. And this is, if you're attached, you can have renewed romance with your beloved, or a new person could come in. But remember, because of all the retrograde energy, it's more likely going to be someone you know from the past, or someone you've connected with in the past and then going to a different level or something. There is a small chance for someone completely brand new to slip in, especially towards the end of the month, but there is more of a tilt towards past things, or something short-term that could be of meaning, of consequence. The 5th house and Leo are also the placements of fun and hobbies, and fun for the sake of itself and pleasure. So anything like a fun or a hobby or crafting or creating in any way is very well indicated, and possibilities can open up at this point. And there could be possibilities that come from your creativity, like even to make money and ground that into something stable. So with all this energy in the 5th house, I definitely want to mention that addictions can also come up here. And since there's such an excess of energy, we really want to make sure that if you have an issue with something, that you're getting that wrapped up, because all the excess energy can lead to an incident from the excess. So we just want you to be safe, and maybe this is a time to do something positive and productive with your energy to move along towards independence from something that may be holding you back. So these are the things that are most on my mind for Aries. Now I want to talk more about these aspects that are occurring, what your mantras can be to most use these energies for the positive potentials that they are, how to blend the retrogrades and the eclipses and everything else with the spiritual principles to hold close to you, to navigate through for maximum outcomes. And I also want to give you dates of those annoying squares that we're definitely going to be feeling, even though they're kind of below these really big, beautiful energies. There's some annoyances, and I'll give you the dates of those, plus some other information about the month. So I'm going to go into all that now. So the theme of the month for August 2018 for all signs is magical alignments and abundant blessings. And that is for a bunch of different reasons. We have so many things going on now, culminating into these magical potentials. So we've got Mars retrograde, and then going direct around between the 26th and 28th of August. We have Mercury retrograde, and that was starting July 26th, running through August 18th or 19th, depending on your time zone. We have the new moon solar eclipse in Leo. That's going to be on August 11th. We've got 2 outer planet trines, so there's magical things going on there. So we have a full moon in Pisces at 3 degrees on August 26th. So these are a lot of things that are going on. So I want to just give you a little recap of how to use these energies well and hit a couple of dates to note. Also note that the information that I'm giving you, if you are better with written and looking at things visually, you can get a written version of what I'm describing, plus more details about the general transits and aspects for August and every month when you sign up for my free newsletter at AnnieHelpsYou.com. When you sign up at AnnieHelpsYou.com, you'll get a resend of all the newsletters I've sent for recent times, so you can catch up with what's going on. And then of course I always send these out a month early so you have them for your planning purposes, so you know the good days, the dicey days, and things like that to make your plans. So the eclipses and the retrogrades are both increasing the odds that things worked of, dreamed of, and planned on in the past will come to fruition now. This is a major time of continued manifestation. The retrogrades are not good for certain things, which you can check out on my website, AnnieHelpsYou.com, and also check out on my YouTube channel. If you put in Annie Botticelli YouTube, I have lots of videos about Mars retrograde, Mercury retrograde, on the things to avoid during these transits. But there are a lot of things that these retrogrades are really amazing for. And one of them is to let things come to you, is to be the spider. It's like you've woven your web, and maybe you're also weaving a web for future catches in the future, but it's in the backdrop. But you're just letting things come in. You're relaxing, you're stressing the best way you can, you're not forcing things, you can be comfortably productive, but it's more about being the spider and letting your food come to you. Another theme of this month is taking a break from the norm in big and small ways. Even something as simple as driving down a different street to go to work builds new neuronal pathways in your brain. And not only is that good for the longevity of your mental capacities, it's also, when you light up new neuronal pathways in your brain, it activates new energy in your field to bring in new things to you, to break out of old, a matrix, an old matrix. So you can do things different in a small way, or you could do things different in a big way. There's an example that I want to give you about this artist that I know, who is very detailed in his painting, but he was stuck. He wasn't getting paid for his creative work, and sometimes it would take him years to complete a painting. Of course, if you see the painting, it would be like, wow, you can't even believe that somebody could create that, especially with a small paintbrush. But he was stuck. And so during this cycle of the retrograde, he started watching Bob Ross. I don't know if you know Bob Ross, the epic Bob Ross with his epic hair, but you can look him up on YouTube. He basically teaches you how to paint landscapes, and you can watch him paint this amazing landscape picture in like 20 minutes. It's crazy. So he started watching Bob Ross and then started applying this very fast using of the artistic skills to get in and get out and finish things. And because of that, things unlocked for him, and he's had this whole new opportunity for being paid for his artistic work, when before he was stuck in the same old way. But that's how you can that's an example of how you can use these retrograde energies to just break from the norm, to open yourself up for more opportunities now from the eclipses and other things, and also in the future. So definitely check out my Mars retrograde blog and video. Definitely check out my Mercury retrograde video. But do know that this month we are carrying those energies, but both of those planets are going direct. So I gave you those dates earlier. If you're traveling now or ever, and you are interested in seeing what the astrology for your travel time is, things to look out for, things to be aware of, you can check out my website, Astrology Kiss Travel Bliss. And I do monthly travel astrology reports on there. Okay, so this long series of retrogrades that we've had for months could be wearing on you, and your patience could be running thin. This, plus this notable amount of squares, so I'm calling it minor annoyances with these squares, but major blessings because of these, the solar eclipse and the outer planets coming together in beautiful configuration. But just know that you're going to have a little bit of an open boosting time. So even though the personal planets being retrograde are not going to end this long sequence until like December, at the end of August, beginning of September, you'll have a little bit of a break from the deep retrograde energies, okay? So if certain things have to bubble up, effervescence, just bubbling up, you might notice some momentum and some things starting to pick up at that point. In general, issues with anger at present or past situations can come up strongly, so the more you can not act from a charged space, the more you can prevent yourself karmic repercussions. And also adopting the spiritual recognition of divine timing over your own timing is a major theme that the astrology of this month wants you to bring into your forefront. Everything is happening just as it's supposed to, and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Okay, so I'm going to hit a couple of highlights of dates to watch. August 1st, we've got a square. Tension can create breakthroughs here, but any way you can break free from something, just try to do it with care and not with anger. August 6th, we have another square, the Sun and Jupiter. So you can feel very proud and capable with this transit, but depending on how you bring that feeling out to the world, maybe it won't be well received. So just kind of watch it, try to tend to not overdo on any level, including spending, food and drink and substances and things like that. On August 7th, we have Uranus going retrograde. That starts at 2 degrees of Taurus and it goes retrograde back to 28 degrees of Aries. So anybody who has placements there, it won't go direct until January 6, 2019. So this is where the planet of change and freedom switches to do deeper work on your inner space. Okay, so either to catch up with changes that have already occurred in the outer realms or to prepare you for future changes that are coming in the outer realms. Also on August 7th, we have a beautiful trine with Venus and Mars. So this is a great little boost here in the midst of some of the annoying aspects. We've got on August 8th, Venus opposing Chiron. So it's very likely to bring up some challenges involving love and money, and feeling like your self-esteem is off or feeling like a victim is more likely at this time. But of course, it always gives us opportunities to have breakthroughs as well. August 8th, we have the Sun conjunct Mercury in Leo, so you can have your creativity ignited. It can fuel romance, it can increase fun, it can also increase ego flares and battles, so just tread lightly on charged topics. August 9th, we've got we have Venus square Saturn. I don't know where July just came from. Anyway, so Venus square Saturn. Whenever Venus, the planet of love and beauty and money, comes together with Saturn, just sort of this hard-nosed, you know, challenge bringer, especially in that type of configuration, it can bring money or relationship issues. So, you know, the need for you to deal with them is going to be higher, but your inclination to avoid them is also going to be high. We've got another square on August 10th between the 10th and the 11th of Mercury and Jupiter. Whenever we have squares with Jupiter, Jupiter is a benevolent outer planet. So even the challenging aspects with Jupiter can be softer than squares with other planets. So it can bring a lot of optimism, but again, with that, like a tendency to overdo, like I have so much energy, I don't know what to do with myself, and then now I just burn myself out or something like that. So just kind of be aware of what you're committing to. August 11th, we've got a solar eclipse, new moon at almost 19 degrees of Leo. So this is time to make your 10 new moon wishes on the topics of Leo. So anything with children, creativity, romance, fun, hobbies, addictions, leadership, acting, anything else that puts all eyes on you. So new opportunities and major new chapters can come in from that eclipse. August 19th, we have this official trine between Jupiter in Scorpio and Neptune in Pisces. So again, this started at the end of December. There's some story that started at the end of 2017. It got strong again at the end of May, beginning of June. And then this is the final connection. So if you have any, especially water placements close to 15 degrees, but really anything that would aspect the 15 degrees there is going to more closely affect you. And you'll feel that trine for quite a while, you know, a while before the 19th and a while after the 19th. August 25th, we have a grand Earth trine with the Sun in Virgo, Saturn in Capricorn, and Uranus in Taurus, and those are at 2 degrees. So if you have any planets at 2 degrees, especially, you know, something that causes an astrological aspect with Earth in those signs, there's going to be more effects for you. August 14th through September 13th, we will very likely feel this beautiful effect. So launches and important things can be great, even though we're kind of still doing a lot of retrograde energy. If you have to push in something at the end of August, beginning of September, you can ride the coattails of this trine while getting, you know, Mars will be direct as of between the 26th and 28th. Mercury is already direct, so you'll have more momentum here and you might see some really beautiful things happen. August 27th, Mars is direct at 28 degrees of Capricorn. That post-shadow period stretches until October 10th, so it won't regain full oomph until then. But momentum and drive and ambition will definitely, for those of you where it was waning, it will very likely start to return, sometimes to the day. It'll be a little sleepy, but you'll feel something different, like something's waking up. So on August 27th or 28th, depending on your time zone, Mercury will square Jupiter again. We had that square earlier that I mentioned, but because Mercury was in retrograde, then it did it in retrograde, then when it went direct, it did it again. So just be careful of overcommitting And if you can promise or commit to only a fraction of what you feel like you can do, then you'll be happier, because as time moves on from this moment, your optimism or the reality may set in. And if you commit to something from that high space, then it's going to be hard for you to pull it through. Okay, so these are the things that are most on my mind for the transits in August. Definitely, if you'd love to learn astrology, check out my website, anniehelpsyou.com, for my astrology education options. If you'd like to be a coach as your profession, I would love to help you, teaching you my 6-step formula to getting results. I'm really good at setting and reaching goals, and I'd love to teach people how to do that for themselves and for other people too. If you'd like to bring your business online and have geographical freedom, you may be interested in my Creating Successful Online Business course, which you can also see at anniehelpsyou.com. Remember that if you would like a written horoscope from me, often with different things than I talk about in the video, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. At cozybysweetstarlight.com, you will see blogs featured from people, up-and-coming bloggers, also from myself, and my horoscopes are featured there. But there are a lot of different lifestyle blogs there that I think you will enjoy. So check that out. Go to my husband's website, IamHelios, IamHelios.com, to learn tarot. Also, he does astrology readings, tarot readings, and other cool things you can see on his site. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.